One of the most well-known luxury brands in the world is Patek Philippe. It's one of the first names that come to mind when you consider a high-end watch. And some of its goods have earned the title of being the most expensive ever. Several of the top celebrities in the world, like Victoria Beckham, Drake, and Ed Sheeran, have been spotted wearing Patek Philippe timepieces. But were you aware of this brand's intriguing past? Today we will be taking a look at how a homeless refugee founded one of the most iconic brands, Patek Philippe. Before we begin, please like and subscribe to our channel. In the Polish village of Piaski Szlachecki, close to Lublin, Antoni Patek was born in 1812. His life had never been smooth. Patek moved to Warsaw with his parents when he was only 10 years old, but his father passed away in 1828 not long after. Patek's country was occupied by Russia when he was growing up. It is regarded as one of the most difficult times in Polish history, therefore it is not surprised that there was a great deal of resistance against the Germans. Patek enlisted in the Polish 1st Mounted Rifles Regiment at the age of 16, participated in the Polish November Uprising against Russian control, and was injured twice as a result of his valiant actions. He was elevated to the rank of 2nd Lieutenant in the 1st August Brigade on February 27, 1831, and later that year he was awarded the Virtuti Militari Golden Cross. Patek was threatened with execution by the Russian military after the revolt was put down, so he was forced to leave the country along with many other commanders and troops. He helped plan an 1832 escape route for Polish insurgents across Russia and into France. He was given command over a staging area in Bamberg, close to Munich. After completing his assignment successfully, Patek made France his permanent home, residing in places like Cahors and Amiens. He generally fit in well with French culture as a typesetter. Because he was in a much wealthier nation, he was continually astounded by the lavish displays of wealth and luxury that he frequently saw ordinary French people making. The French government, under pressure from the Russian ambassador, issued an order that required numerous former insurgents, including Patek, to relocate to Switzerland, ending Patek's tenure in France. Patek had to leave France as a result and once more become a refugee. Patek had to sell practically all of his assets in order to accomplish this change. He was able to save a few things, including a few timepieces that he had bought in France, and that would serve as the foundation for his watchmaking partnership with Chapek. As soon as he arrived in Switzerland, Patek began developing relationships with local watchmakers and artisans, which would form the groundwork for his future company. After spending some time in Paris, Patek attracted the notice of the illustrious Moreau family of Vertois, who, upon learning of some of his skills, encouraged him to pursue his passion for creating pricey pocket watches. Patek had excellent taste and the right kind of pals. As a result, despite all the challenges, things were beginning to go his way. The Moreau family gave him a lot of encouragement. They were aware of his talent. He would frequently spend a lot of time at their home, where he would encounter some of Switzerland's wealthiest citizens. He once met Elizabeth Thomas and Dennis Art, who were extremely affluent heiresses. The two got along well, and she came from a dazzlingly wealthy family herself. When Patek and another Polish exile living in Switzerland in 1839 made the decision to start a business together, their lives were significantly improved. Despite their modest beginnings, this cooperation marked the beginning of something remarkable because it served as the nucleus for one of the most recognizable luxury companies in the world, Patek Philippe. Patek started dealing in pricey pocket watches that he acquired from Geneva watchmakers. Then he had miniaturists, enamelers, goldsmiths, and engravers embellish them. He prioritized aesthetic worth and quality above all else at the time, and he quickly discovered a market for his works. Patek founded Patek, Chapek and Company in 1845 after starting his own watch design business. A Geneva-based watch manufacturer. The business immediately became successful thanks to their cutting-edge ideas and excellent craftsmanship. They distributed their goods all throughout the world, but they rose to prominence in Russia where many members of the imperial family owned Patek watches. Also, they experimented with other materials such as gold, silver, and enamel to create one-of-a-kind watches. Patek and his associate got along great. Chapek has the solid business sense necessary to run a successful company, while Patek was a gifted craftsman who had previously achieved distinction for his design and technological advances. But, as the two gained in success, they also began to diverge more from one another. In the end, the two were unable to even collaborate, thus Chapek moved on and hired a different designer while Patek remained independent. This would mark Patek, Chapek and Company's final act. Another watchmaker, meantime, was beginning to get some notice in the high-end industry. French watchmaker Adrien Philippe is recognized for developing the winding and setting mechanism. He was born in 1815, and from a young age he showed an interest in technology and mechanical. Philippe attained the title of master clockmaker after a brief period of apprenticeship under two separate watchmakers. He created the keyless winding and setting mechanism for watches in 1842, enabling winding and setting with just a simple crown. He won a bronze medal for this creation in the 1844 Paris International Exposition of Industry. A new kind of balance wheel and an enhanced escapement are only two of the other watchmaking innovations Philippe is credited with in addition to this patent. He is also credited with giving pocket watches the lever escapement, which improved their ability to keep time. Philippe rose to prominence in the French watchmaking industry and eventually was named head of France's premier watchmaking institute. Philippe and Patek would cross paths at the World's Fair. Both of these individuals had quite similar minds, that much was obvious. At the time, Patek was one of Europe's most prominent designers, and Philippe was a well-known engineer around the world. They chose to work together because they were in the same industry, eventually founding the business that we all know and love today, Patek Philippe. As soon as Patek Philippe NCO was formally registered as a business in Switzerland in 1851, the most powerful person in the world became interested in the company. That's accurate. The same year, it was incorporated as a company. A third of the world's ruler, Queen Victoria, had an interest in Philippe's keyless winding system. She was fairly happy when the two partners gave her a watch, and that's putting it mildly. It was a keyless pendant watch, and because of the fine craftsmanship and attention to detail, it was an immediate success. Sparkling rose-cut diamonds were put in a floral design around the outside of the watch's casing, and the watch face was enameled with Art Nouveau patterns. The mechanism, which used a better escapement and a newly developed form of balance wheel, was powered by a mainspring and enabled more precise time-keeping than ever before. Queen Victoria cherished it so much that it became one of her most well-known possessions, and she started frequenting her neighborhood Patek Philippe shop. This brand swiftly became a symbol, if not the icon, of Swiss watchmaking because to the elaborate designs, the proprietary technologies, and the high-profile clients. And all of a sudden, everyone needed one of them. Patek and Philippe would both live to see the development of their business. Eventually, Anthony Patek would pass away. At the age of 64, in 1877. Adrien Philippe would take over everything as none of his children wanted to succeed him. In his late 70s, Philippe discovered that he was too old to carry on with day-to-day operations. As a result, he opted to transfer ownership of the business to his son, Joseph-Émile Philippe, in 1891. In 1894, he went dead. After two more generations of ownership by the Philippe family, the company was acquired by the Swiss Stern family, who continue to hold it today, following the Great Depression. That's a wrap for today's video. What are your thoughts on our list? Let us know in the comments section below. And make sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more future videos.